live as one in the section. With the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker, change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite day of the week. It is
Monkey Tuesday.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. Time to bleed. True Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Come on in, smash the like button. Smash that good old like button. Like the video, share the video, share the video, share the video. There's a little arrow pointing to the right. Press that. You share the video. We are our own algorithm. I'll be out of YouTube jail tomorrow. And man, oh man, you see, I told y'all not gonna stop me. So you don't like it when I turn the big ape into a whole monkey. So you want to hate on my CGI, right? You want to hate on my CGI? You want to censor my CGI? Y'all saw the AI? They got Malcolm X and Tupac with Bruce Lee and Martin Luther King cutting promos in the WWE. I mean, it's some scary stuff. But YouTube got mad at me. Some clown named Jerome got mad at me for turning Tank into a monkey. Well, guess what? You don't like this here? He sleeps with that monkey at night with his thumb in his mouth. He's running around with Al Heyman. It's probably something else. More and more, I wonder what that booty slapping video was about. Like a love letter to me. But anyway, it's Monkey Tuesday. My question this morning is the PBC's demise similar to the WCW's in wrestling? Some of you may or may not know what I'm talking about, but let's do this roll call. We'll get to it. Jim Diamond, Rod Neal, Quan Big Guns, Rashad Livingston, Sheriff Deputy Mac, Eric Jordan, salute. Chilltown Majors, Macados, Mac of the South, Shamar, what's good? 704 Joe, Tay, good morning. Who jumped on me? Mr. Big, what's going on? Yeah, that's right. 78, what up? Yeah, make sure y'all go subscribe to my Patreon. Make sure you go subscribe to my third channel, Bear Cave Entertainment. Bear Cave Entertainment, it's right there. Make sure you go subscribe to Bear Cave Entertainment. That's me. It's my other channel. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Bear Cave Entertainment. Because if you're a content creator, it's quite obvious you need backup channels because YouTube, they decide to do what they want to do. Don't worry, Tay, it's coming back. It's coming back. They want to do what they, ain't that right, Jerome? Ew. Now we know that Miguel has a black boyfriend named Jerome. Yeah. Ain't that right, Miguel?
Ay, Miguel!
That's all right, Miguel. Eventually, your boyfriend, your beau, is going to wind up in the ring with Devin, and Devin's going to smack him around. And I'm going to go on a victory lap, and I'm going to laugh and laugh and laugh. But first, it's Tank Davis's fraudulent.
Stupid butts.
It's his turn. So let's talk about it. And I was giving it, Snacks B, what up? I was giving it some thought. How many of y'all was around in the 90s at the hype of the, y'all remember WCW wrestling? And the Monday Night Wars is a great documentary. If you can find it on YouTube or anywhere online, you should watch it because it's deeper than wrestling. It was business. It was a very interesting thing. I watched that whole thing as an adult because it was just interesting for me. I was, you know, I grew up on Hulk Hogan, main biker salute, grew up on Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. And for a long time, when these guys was, in two different promotions, I mean, they knew each other and, prior to them blowing up, they did wrestle each other in the AWA and things of that nature. But when the WWF emerged as a premier territory, I believe in the North, in the East, right? They had a rival, right? And I'm just gonna Ratchet. What up, brother? I'm gonna get to the meat and potatoes of it because I want you to do the research and I'm gonna make the connection between WCW and the PBC as it pertains to boxing. That's Ted Turner on the left. He's a billionaire. Turner Classic Movies, that's him. I believe TBS is him. He owns a lot of networks. This guy's a billionaire. It's a big old country bumpkin, but he's a billionaire. And Tone, what up? And what happened was he got into the wrestling business, as he called it, the wrestling business. And the story goes, he called up Vince McMahon. Vince answered the phone. He says, guess what, Vince? Vince says, what's going on, Ted? He says, I'm in the wrestling business. He said, well, that's great. Well, I'm in the sports entertainment business. And the race began. So I'm watching Nitro because you had your WWF talent and then you had your WCW talent. So I'm watching Nitro one night and Scott Hall shows up. I'm like, oh, shoot. I guess the Razor Ramon gimmick is over. So he shows up and he's beefing and Sting comes out. I'm like, oh, okay. So, that happens every now and again. Some guy's contract runs out. He goes to the other rival promotion. I understand that. So he shows up and Sting slaps fire out of him. Right? Next week, he shows up with Kevin Nash and I guess he dumped the Diesel gimmick. I said, oh, snap, look at that. So they ran around as the outsiders and they running around causing havoc and whatever. And then they say, hey, man, there's a third guy. You don't know who he is. He's a third guy. Wow, oh, my God, who's the third guy? So they run around beefing with the big names in WCW. Sting and, Ric Flair's wondering what's going on. They're like, well, what are these guys doing? Then into Bash at the Beach. It was a pay-per-view. So Hall and Nash is fighting Macho Man and I believe Sting. And they fighting. And they start cheating, whatever, and they kicking their ass and beating them up. So then Hulk Hogan comes out. And here comes the Hulkster. Now, Hulk Hogan was bigger than wrestling in the 80s. He was bigger than wrestling. This guy was a icon. He changed the sport, right? He brought it mainstream. So when he left the WWF, that was huge. He went to WCW. That was huge. Now he's wrestling with another promotion. So now normally Hulk Hogan, who was the super duper babyface, which meant a good guy, he comes out. And you're thinking he's going to go in there and start kicking Hall and Nash ass. They get out the ring. He starts leg dropping Randy Savage, who was also a babyface at that time. And everyone was like, whoa, Hulk Hogan turning heel was like the biggest. That made the news because you just didn't see that. He spent 2 decades wearing the red and yellow, and Hulkamania, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and the good old US of A, real American, right? And he turned heel right there. Boom, the NWO was born. That was major because I watched it that night. I said, yo, that's brilliant. MJ, what up? Abdullah, salute. I was like, oh, man. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. And he starts wearing black, and it was what that did. Red Force salute. What that did, and here's why I'm bringing that up, because that was big news. Kids were shocked. I mean, I was an adult watching that, but I said, man, I watched this as a kid. I never thought that he would do this. What a storyline. And it was dope. It was dope. And what that did was that shot the ratings through the roof. It shot the ratings through the roof. And what happened was you started to see every Monday night, because Monday, WCW had a program called Nitro. On Mondays, WWF had a program called Raw. And what started happening was you started seeing wrestlers slowly start to pop up in WCW. You're like, wait a minute, he was wrestling in the WWF like a week ago. Now he's over, and I'm talking about even mid-card guys. Guys with no storyline. They were just brought in, they were jobbers. It's like, oh man, he was just jobbing on the WWF show. Now he's here? Monster Musa, salute. Now I'm skipping over a lot of stuff because it got interesting to me, because I'm like, man, the business is dirtbag now. And before you knew it, WCW had a lot of former WWF main eventers running around there. And it was fun to watch. Then, you know, Eric Bischoff started announcing the ending to Raw, because Raw was pre-recorded. They started announcing the ending of Raw on the Nitro program. At the intro, I said, this is dirty. Dirty, 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 dirty. But something happened. There's something called being oversaturated. WCW had all the talent. They had all the names, all the faces, but you know what started to happen? Storyline got real tacky. The NWO got too big. Eventually, every major name running around in WCW became NWO. Then it broke up and you had two factions of the NWO, and it just got exhausting in like 3 years. It got very exhausting. Thursdays, WWF had a show called Thunder. No, I'm sorry. It was the SmackDown on Thursdays. And what did WCW do? They rivaled them with Thunder. And then the ratings on Thunder dropped, and they moved to Wednesdays. I remember that. And then WCW had a bullshit show on Saturday nights at like 1 a.m. out here. And there was wrestling on television, like between the WWF and the WCW. There was wrestling, and I'll get to the super chats near the end, Eric Jordan. Hold on a minute. I don't want to lose my train of thought. There was wrestling like 4 days out the week. I didn't like wrestling that much. I was an adult, but I didn't like it that much. I had Mondays off back then, so I was able to watch some of it. But there was wrestling on. I said, man, is it big like that? Is it like that? But then when I stopped to watch the Wednesday program on WCW, and I was like, man, the arena's half empty. And I started wondering, how much money are they dumping into this? They're trying to dump money into this program. The storylines are crappy now. It's hard to keep up what's going on. And they're trying to put the WWF out of business. And what I started to notice was the WWF, they started creating new stars. And the new stars that emerged were saying, oh man, yeah, the old guys, referring to the dudes that went to the WCW. And that's when you saw The Rock and Steve Austin change his gimmick to Stone Cold. Ron Simmons and the Nation of Domination. DX. Triple H emerged from all of that. They created new stars. And the WCW ended up being the old guys. And they ran out of storyline and the product got really, really shitty. Quality versus quantity. That's right, Mac. The Attitude Era. Quantity versus quality. Now, Ted Turner had deep pockets. But his product sucked. He could mass produce wrestling. He had money to get all the names there. But the product sucked. And then guys started going back to the WWF. Ratings were down. They were losing more money that they were putting in. I even heard through the grapevine, venues was like, yo, look, we don't even want to host a SmackDown event. Nobody's coming out. That's what I heard. I can't deny or confirm that. So Ted Turner cut his losses and said, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of the promotion. And next thing you know, I'm watching the last Nitro, and Shane McMahon shows up while Raw was airing, and they did like a crossover broadcast. That was groundbreaking, and all the talent came back to WWF. That's the story. Well, Drew, that's wrestling. Well, you see Al Heyman sitting there with the big monkey, Tank Davis. You see that? Well, here's the similarity. I think the PBC is dying. Philip D, salute. And they're dying of something very similar. Not quite the same, but very, very similar. Black Jericho, salute. And y'all make sure y'all share the video. I'll be back on my other channel tomorrow. But this is why you have a backup channel, because Miguel and Jerome spoon and they don't like me. They don't like me too hot. But that's all right, because I'm a clown everything. We're on the Tank Good Riddance tour. Don't forget. Don't forget, we're on a Tank Good Riddance tour. I need this kid to leave and keep his word and get out of here. Anyway, so I'm looking at the PBC. When the PBC came into the sport of boxing, the first things first, we supported them. It was like, what's this PBC? Who owns it? Oh, that's a black face? Automatically, I'm supporting it. And then I found out, I'm like, oh man, wait, that's Al Heyman. How do I know that name? Man, he's been in the music industry. Some of the, what was that? Was that the Superfest he was in charge of? He was throwing concerts and, you know, do the research on Al Heyman. This guy understands business. He's been around, right? So now he got into boxing, like how Ted Turner called up Vinnie Mac and said, I'm in the wrestling business. And Vince said, yeah, okay, I'm in the sports entertainment business. We'll see. 3 or 4 years later, who's still standing? There's no more WCW. That's over with. That's over with. So Al Heyman comes through. And once I figured out who that was, I said, you know, I'm going to support the brother. I think he understands business. And what ended up happening was Al, with his business model, started to make some waves. And I noticed a lot of the talent. Yeah, salute my queen. A lot of the talent started going over to Al Heyman. A lot of the talent that we support. A lot of the talent that old media would talk bad about. You know, everything a black fighter did was never good enough. They go to the PBC, they're getting airtime, they're not complaining about money, they're getting fights. And then I saw PBC putting free fights on television. I said, man, this is good. Y'all remember we saw Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman out here? That was on CBS. Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, that was on CBS. And that's another thing. Bob Arum and Golden Boy, they were pay-per-viewing us to death. And that's something that Ted Turner was doing with WCW. It's like every month, every month WCW, I think they had like 3 pay-per-views in 1 month. And the cards were trash. The wrestling cards were trash. It's like the WWF would have a pay-per-view like every other month. WCW would hit you in the head at least 2 to 3 times a month or something crazy. Delano, Salute, something crazy like that. They were killing us. And the pay-per-views weren't that expensive, like $20. So I'm like, yo, man, come on. You don't need this. It was over the top. Al Heyman came in, giving us boxing on free TV. And he fell under a lot of what I deemed as unnecessary attack. It was crazy. I'm like, this man doesn't do interviews. He don't talk. You can't say that he's doing something bad because he was doing right by the sport. That's all I cared about. I wasn't keen to what his business model was, but I didn't care at that point because I paid attention to 2 things. I was getting a quality product from him at that time, and the fighters were happy. And what happened in the midst of that? A guy came along, seen and unseen, salute. Unique Dawn, salute. A guy came along by the name of Eddie Hearn. You may have heard of him. First time I saw a video of Eddie Hearn may have been, I want to say 2014. And he come on there with his British accent and his hair slicked back with these shades on, and he's talking. I'm like, well, who the fuck is this? Oh, he's a promoter. He's a promoter. Okay. What is he doing? Enter Anthony Joshua. Okay, well, okay, the big British kid, was he? So 6'5", okay. Oh, yeah, looks real handsome. Oh, that's great. Can he fight? That's all I want to know. Trill, what up? I said, well, can he fight? And, things, we learned about that from there. But my point of bringing up Eddie Hearn was, he comes in, Matchroom Boxing, and I said, oh, that's Barry Hearn's kid. Now I know. That's Barry Hearn's kid. I knew who Barry Hearn was. This is his son. Okay, I get it. Slave masters always, give up the plantation to the bloodline, but whatever. So, enter DAZN, and I'm speeding up this thing for the sake of the show. He starts working with DAZN. And DAZN's first order of business, because I was on Facebook at this time. This was like 2014, 2015. Cats in these chat groups was like, oh my God, Eddie Hearn got $1 billion bag because DAZN is owned by some Russian. And I'm just reading like, okay. And guess what they started saying? All right, give me a minute. Give me a minute, Steve. Give me a minute. He's going to buy up all the PBC fighters. So I'm in the chat group like, okay, what is this obsession with buying all of the PBC fighters? What is that? Oh, he's going to put the PBC out of business. I'm like, let me get this straight. We are on here always talking about boxing not being what it used to be. We remember getting up on Saturday mornings and watching free fights on CBS and ABC, and that was Don King Promotions versus Top Rank Promotions. And we used to be able to watch boxing freely because we are the supporters of the sport. We just like watching boxing, right? And I started to ask, what is this obsession with buying up all the PBC fighters? Top Rank has fighters. Queensberry has fighters. What is this obsession? Because it's become an obsession. Why are y'all, Del Riff, salute, and thank you in that Cash App the other day. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother. Hen Dog, salute. What is this obsession with buying all of the PBC fighters? And they danced around that. You already said it. It's in writing. I wanted to hear what they said. I want to hear that. Oh, he got $1 billion bag. He's going to buy up all the PBC fighters. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're getting free fights on TV. What is this obsession with buying? Y'all not saying this about Top Rank, who hit you in the head with a pay-per-view. You remember DAZN's marketing employee? They ran out and got, what's his name, the comedian. Pay-per-view is dead. Remember he was running around talking about pay-per-view's dead? Remember that? And I just watched, because you know what my response was? Everyone found the problem with the PBC, and I said, look, I don't know about the inner workings of the business, but right now, Tracy Morgan, thank you. Right now, we need to ride this wave until it dies down. We're getting what we want as supporters. I don't know the inner workings of the business. I'm not concerned about it. That's for the athletes. If they feel like they're being robbed, they can get out of it. But right now, everyone's going over to Al Heyman because they're getting what they want. They're getting the money that they want, and they're getting the airtime. So it's good right now. Oh, but what are you going to say when the PBC goes out of business? I said, let me explain something. If Eddie Hearn comes around with DAZN money from this billionaire Russian that I never heard of, Derek, what up? And he buys up all the talent and I get the fights that I want, I don't care who runs boxing, because what y'all don't remember is people started gangbanging over these promotions. I had a bunch of Brits. Eddie Hearn is going to be the lead promoter in boxing. I don't care. I don't watch boxing for the promoters. Dummy. I didn't watch boxing for Don King. I didn't watch boxing for Bob Arum or Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren. I watch it for the talent. I don't care who owns boxing. I know that when I watch my product, I want the fights that I want when I want them. With all these promoters in the way, all I'm hearing as of late was, oh, he's on the opposite side of the street. He works for Frank Warren. He works for Eddie Hearn. And this guy's over here with PBC. So those fights don't happen. I don't want to hear that. Back then, I was like, I need one sanctioning body, one belt for every weight class. That's all I wanted. Because right now, all of these promotions and these managers, and everybody's in the fucking way. And it's annoying. So when I got in the chat and I said, yo, look, if Eddie takes it over and I get the fights that I want, I don't care. And they're worried about, oh, if Al Heyman gets put out of business, you're going to be mad? Wait a minute. What are you really asking me? You see what I mean? Say what you want to say, man. Say what you want to say. And that's what made me ride with the PBC. That right there. It was covert racism the whole fucking time. The whole time. I said, what is your focus on Al Heyman? You got Eddie Hearn running around talking shit, wanting to be up in the camera. Felt like Suge Knight. Wanting to be up in the camera, dancing. Felt like Suge Knight when he was talking about Diddy. I said, this man don't talk, and no one's complaining about the money they're not getting. He's putting free boxing on free TV. Oh, I see. You don't like Errol Spence. Oh, I see. You don't like Deontay Wilder. You know what? I like King Kong Ortiz, and where is he? He's over there on Matchroom. Isn't he AJ's responsibility? Why that fight not happening? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Then they don't want to talk. Black Martial Arts Society, salute. Then they don't want to talk. It became them focusing on getting the PBC out of business. So for all of you Johnny-come-latelys, when I hold PBC accountable to date, please save that. Oh, why are you always dogging out the PBC? No, you wasn't here. Because when I figured out what it was, and these clowns, these racist clowns weren't saying it, don't worry. I said it for them. I say it for them. Isaiah, salute. Al Heyman was falling under vicious attacks due to racism. That's what it was. So I supported the PBC by way of tribalism. I did. They made it that way. Because I'm on record saying, hey, man, if I don't care where the talent goes as long as I'm getting the fights that I want. Why are y'all worried about who runs boxing? Y'all are matchroom. And I'm talking to American fight fans. When did y'all become matchroom fans? What is this? Well, we picking sides of what promotion is the best? No. Don't we want the best fights? And that's how we got everyone jumping on AJ's jock strap and justifying why Deontay should not fight AJ. He don't sell enough. He can't sell out Alabama. AJ sells out Wembley. All right, fine. Y'all maybe want to look at the business, and I started doing some research. No, he wasn't selling out Wembley. You know what was happening? Eddie Hearn was buying up the damn tickets and reselling them. Because do y'all forget that the government over there had to step in and change some things? In the very next fight, he ended up fighting in New York, and nobody knew him. Guest 22 says block Bow Crossbred. I don't know who it. Bow Crossbred in the chat. Who is that? I don't know. I trust y'all ventures. If I'll block him. Oh, you know, whatever. Y'all do what y'all do. I don't know who that guy is. I saw him. I don't know who that guy is. What did he say? I say the truth, but you insecure people will delete it. I know. I don't know. I don't know him. I was waiting for him to say something else. I was just waiting for him to say something else. You know, I'm laying the foundation of why I see a similarity between the demise of the PBC and WCW. Read the other one. What did he say? He said something else? Where? I don't see it. He said something else? Oh, wait, hold on. What do you say? I don't know what he said. It won't show me. You know, I ain't got time, man. It's Monkey Tuesday. Let's work. I don't even see it, brother. But if he says something crazy, you did right. That's why you got a wrench, brother. It's all good. Taken care of. So anyway. Oh, he said the harder you are. T Hunt, salute. Freedom's March, salute. He said that? He said the harder you are? Nah, Miguel don't monitor that. Miguel don't monitor that. Brother Reef, salute. And Jerome will come in here with his rainbow flag and threaten me. Miguel and Jerome will come in here and micromanage me and what I do here. But if I go to YouTube and say, hey, man, what's up with this? You know what they'll say? Oh, that's why you exercise a block button or whatever. No. How about this? Why do I have to keep blocking clowns like that? Why do I have to, why is it that when I block you, and I've been saying this for like 5 years now, when you block someone, they shouldn't be able to come back with 1 million ghost accounts. Block the entire IP address. That technology exists. You know how I know it exists? Because Instagram been doing it for the last 5 years. When you block someone on Instagram, it gives you an option. Block this account or any account that they create. It's a simple thing for me. Block any account they create. They don't even know you're on the gram anymore. They're going to have to get a new router, a new phone to harass you. Why isn't YouTube doing that? I don't want to block 30 accounts. I want to block their whole IP address. Whether they're sub to me or not, block. That's it. You can have them stick around if someone else blocks them, but if I, the manager of the channel, if I block you, you should know what the hell I'm doing. Quick story. It was so funny. Malik Scott posted a video of somebody training, and I commented on it. And I was like, salute Malik and da 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 da. And so Malik saluted me. So then one of the brothers hit me up on the DMs, like, yo, who's dude cursing you out? I'm like, I don't know. Who? They're like, yo, there's some dude going in there typing books on you. I'm like, who? And he had the screen. I said, he's probably blocked. I don't know who it is. So he sent me screenshots. And dude was going off on me. Oh, Drew, it's some British dude. Oh, I know you in here because Malik saluted me. But he didn't at me. He saluted me. I know you're in here, you wanker and all this other. He's typing books, and people in the chat was like, yo, dude, what the hell, what are you on? So I got like, I swear, like 3 screenshots of this dude typing books because I blocked him on my YouTube, and then he found me on the gram, and then he tried to troll on the gram, and I blocked him there. Block. So I DM Malik, and I said, you see this dude in your chat? He went back and looked at it, and he, LOL, yeah. I said, what'd you do to him? I said, nothing, but I blocked him. I said, yo, just block that guy. He said, say no more. And he blocked that dude. Now look, you idiot. Now you can't follow Malik Scott. You can't follow me. Now look. Look at you now, idiot. To all my content creators, your block button is it's your first line of defense. Anything past that, you take it up, you screenshot and go to these channels and you save those with the addresses up top, and you contact YouTube and say, why does this one person keep coming back and fucking with me? Why are y'all allowing this? And let them explain it. Like they have to explain why I'm being threatened by a raging pillow biter. Talking about the next time you do A, B, and C, we're gonna do D, E, and F. I'm like, who are you? See, it's Miguel's boyfriend. I knew he had a boyfriend. Now watch how I work on that. Jeff Sparks, salute. I think now's a good time to get to the super chats. Eric Jordan, that super chat, he says Miguel and Jerome running the train on Tank Franks. Yeah, man, of course, man. They run trains on each other. Miguel! You remember the perms used to smell like eggs back in the day? Ain't a perm between them, but it smelled like eggs in their loft in San Francisco. You know what's going on in there? I smell like eggs in here all the time. Miguel is 100 mad because they can't funk with the ninja sword. Oh, of course, man.
Give power to my nigger sword!
Yeah, they can stay mad. I'm dragging Tank, but you know what the interesting thing is? I ain't got to lie. So let me get back on purpose here. Where was I? So I was in the business of protecting Al Heyman and exposing the racist attacks on him. I was. Xavier, salute. I protected brother Al. I did. I really did. What started happening was, DAZN made a lot of mistakes. I said a long time ago, Eddie Hearn is failing because he doesn't understand the American market. BFTB in the building, salute. He didn't understand the American market, but it's going to take a while. But how he came into the American market was all wrong. Things started to die down. Programs started to disappear. You remember when PBC had some programs on BET? I think Andre Ward fought Sullivan Barrera on BET. But I was supporting. I was there for it. Top Rank was still around. They tried to sue Al Heyman for violating the Muhammad Ali Act. It was a witch hunt. So by just by association, I was Team Heyman. I was supporting the brother. So when they all failed with everything, I said, all right, now the PBC could just continue with their business. Shade Girl, salute, Queen. I appreciate the Patreon subscription. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my Patreon. I take the gloves off over there. And I got a whole video coming up about the horrible business practices of YouTube and the people they have overseeing us. Of course, I can't do that here because I can't play the music that I want and I can't use the language that I want to use. I'm going to do it on Patreon. Yes, sir. So, when things kind of died down, I noticed programming disappearing. I noticed that fighters weren't as active. But I'm still a team player, right? And again, I'm jumping around because I do want to open up the panel. Fast forward to today. Now, at the end of the day, I support the brother, but let me be very clear. I support the sport, man. And I need a good product. And you started to find out some things. If it wasn't an alarm during the Bud and Errol situation, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Naughty 86 in that super chat. He said, salute you and salute to the mighty LDBC. Salute to you, good fam. Thank you so much. You know, when Bud did that response on his Instagram about that conversation that him and Al had, I didn't like it. Because I'm a firm believer in people having PR. But as the athlete, he is a superior talent. I'm never comfortable when they get on their social media and start talking from the heart, because you could be correct, but you might not word it properly. And I did a live stream about that. I didn't like that. You never heard me say Bud was trash or nothing like that. I just said, no, don't do this. But one thing that he did say that stuck out, one thing that he did say was that Al Heyman told him, I'm not letting anyone near this fight. And I said, wait a minute. Now, I didn't think he was lying about that. And I said, I don't know, man. What the hell is that? Never said Bud was scared of Errol. Never said Errol was scared of Bud. But I said, why aren't they fighting? If you think back, they said that they tried to make that fight. They just couldn't figure out how to do it. Think back. And then the infamous, and I'm jumping around now, the infamous, I feel like I'm being played tweet from Errol. Mark, what up? I was like, what the fuck? I said, wait a minute. I don't think Bud's lying on that, bro. What is that? And it was with that, I started to look at this whole thing different. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Hold on. This is the premier fight. This is this era's Hagler Hearns right here. Hearns Ray Leonard. This fight has to happen. What did Al mean he's not letting anyone near this fight? Who is he protecting, if he's protecting anybody? What he's doing is robbing us of proper quality fights now at this point. So Errol Spence has to step away from the Al Heyman regime, and he literally got the fight done on his own, and he got smoked, but at least he got in there. Because if it was left up to Al Heyman and the PBC, we have no fight. Bud and Errol got that done. I'm like, yo, wait, hold on, what's this? And again, I'm jumping around a bit. Then Mal Charlo has some mental issues. And he ain't fight all year long. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then we get up to the little monkey. We go into Houston to fight a 130-pound Lamont Roach. I'm like, why is he fighting? All right, whatever, man. Where's the fight? And I trashed the fight. Like, here you go, pulling up someone from a lighter weight division. But he can't fight proper competition at 140. No Devin Haney, no Josh Taylor. But he could fight Leo Santa Cruz, and he could fight Lamont Roach. Fine, man. Fine. And then we find out, JB and salute. Right. Then we find out we not going to Houston. Now, I wasn't even thinking about that. It's Tank Davis, right? It's the face of boxing, right? And then we found out they couldn't secure the venue. And I'm like, what's that about? Now, again, and then the response we got was there was a problem with the venue. I forgot how exactly it was worded. They said it was a problem with the venue. The venue? Our brother Rod Neal lives in Houston. He said, man, the Rockets are playing that week. Ain't no problem with the venue. But the way the PBC worded it was like, I thought they had like a burst pipe or something. Well, I said, well, they can't have nothing lined up because this is Tank Davis. He sells out, right? I'm like, what's going on here? And then when Blue Blood made the phone call, all he did was reveal, he says, wait a minute, you know, what's going on? How come they can't secure Houston? And then Blue Blood made the phone call on his video. Dudes got mad at Blue Blood. And I'm like, hold on, y'all. Wait. Now's the time. If worried about the wrong shit was a person or a group of people, it was Tank fans / Blue Blood haters. I said, wait a minute. All the brother did was make a phone call. Even if the person on the phone wasn't at liberty to give that level of information, it's who he called. And I believe on that video, he said, y'all can make the phone call yourself. You're still at the mercy of the information who you call. You can call a venue and say, listen, man, is Beyonce, I understand Beyonce's supposed to be at Madison Square Garden on December 2nd. And the person says, I know what's been happening online and, you know, but as of right now, there's nothing booked. I've seen what's online, you know, they're advertising it online, but I'm looking at the schedule. It's not here. That's it. Now, what they're saying at the big offices, of course, the guy answering the phone won't know. He's the last person to know. But if he's answering the phone, his job is to give information when people call and ask it. And the last word he got was there was no Tank Davis fight booked for that weekend or that week. Remember, it's not only booked for one day. It's booked for the fight night, which is a Saturday / Sunday morning. The weigh-in, more than likely, that Friday. Media during the week. They booked for the whole week from what I was told. So I'm like, you know, what the hell's going on here, man? And y'all got mad at Blue, and then some cats got mad at me. I had cats telling me, yo, you got to be careful. I know Blue is your man, and you know it's a New York thing. They always say it's a New York thing. I'm like, man, it's not that serious. That's my dogs and all, but come on. Yeah, I know it's a New York thing, and you know, but I'm just saying, man, you got to watch Blue. I got to watch Blue. Yeah, you got to watch Blue because, you know, I mean, I'm telling you, Drew, man, I'm telling you for your own good because this is what I do. Okay, fine. Yeah, you work with hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, and, you know, it's salute to you and what you do for a living and how you work in the function in the business. I'm not talking about that. I work for transit. I know how to operate a bus. Put me in a train situation, I'm lost. I don't know how to operate a train. You're a brain surgeon, right? Cool. I need a root canal. Can you do it? No. Well, why not? You're a brain surgeon. Yeah. Not a dentist. See how that works? So with respect to what a lot of you do for a living and hundreds of thousands of dollars you work with respectfully saying that had nothing to do with Blue Blood making that phone call, God damn it. Had nothing to do with that. He made a call, he aired it, and he said, this is what I got. And at the end of the day, he was right. All he did was make a phone call. He tried to find out what was going on. His people were saying, ain't no fight in Houston. He said, you serious? They said, yo, ain't no fight in Houston. He said, wait, that ain't right. So then he called on his own because he didn't want to believe it. And he said, well, I guess it's true. Ain't no fight. Now it's boxing. Things are subject to change. But remember, you remember when there was an original date and then that date got scrapped? Like Houston got scrapped? And I said, wait a minute. That's what made me start to wonder, what's going on with the PBC? What the hell's going on? They can't book a venue? What's happening here? That can't be right. Can it? Then they decide to come to Brooklyn, which is where they should have been in the first damn place. And then I'm watching the goddamn press conference. They should have aired it on Tubi. It was so bad. I'm like, what the hell's going on? What is this? And I'm like, uh-oh. Could the PBC really be having financial problems? And then, dun, 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 injuries. And I start to wonder, wait a minute, before I jump to that, Fundora gets a win. Errol Spence gets into the ring. Fundora it looked like for a minute Fundora was getting lined up to fight Bud. Errol gets in the ring and takes a picture with him. Bud says, get in line. Errol says, I don't do lines. Remember that? I said, okay, I guess we got Errol versus Fundora. That's fucked up. Because Bud earned his right. And here come Errol. And then that didn't happen. So let me get this straight. Not securing Houston and the Errol and Fundora fight don't happen. And wait a minute, what's going on here? The tweet, I feel like I'm being played. And wait a minute, all of this stuff is lining up now. Fast forward to Fundora versus Thurman. And now Fundora has a hand injury. Fundora? Now, if Thurman had pulled out with a hand injury, we'd be like, yeah, typical. This nigga always hurt. No, it's Fundora. And what do we know about hand injuries, family? Ask Charles Conwell. That's a true story. I'm not trying to drag the brother. Salute to him. But he openly admitted that he killed an event where he was the main event and he faked a hand injury. so he could fight on the undercard of Teofimo versus Kambosos on Triller, and then Teofimo pulled out of that fight, so he ain't make no money that weekend. So now here come Fundora with a hand injury? How convenient. And this is the PBC thing. Enter Tank Davis, new fight deal, 7-fight deal. Remember that? Let me remind y'all, because a lot of people got, bad memories.
You say before you retire you want to fight Devin and Shakur. Is that still the plan?
I never said that. When I say that? I never said that. But I would for sure. But I never said before I retire I want to fight them too. I never said that.
You said
new deal, 7-fight deal, which is music to the ears of many boxing fans. Get to see you in action for several more years. What type of names are we talking about in those 7 names?
Whoever you name, they could be in it.
Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
Devin Haney.
What happened to that? What happened to that? I told y'all some of this crap Tank was lied to. But he said he was retiring at the end of 2025, right? But he was supposed to be getting Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, probably a rematch with Pitbull Cruz. We ain't getting none of that. We getting a Hail Mary. No, F that. I'm giving you Jake Paul and I'm getting out. Remember he said he's going to retire at the end of 2025 and me and Al Heyman are going to retire at the end of the year. Right off into the sunset. I said, why is he speaking on Al Heyman's behalf? Looks like Al is trying to get out the business. He has health complications and all that stuff, right? And now Fundora versus Thurman is postponed with a hand injury? It sounds like the ship of the PBC and how they did business has ran its course, because but no one factored in was Turkey Al-Sheikh, who had real money. Cats was telling me, oh man, the billionaire Russian, he has endless pockets and he could buy up all the PBC fighters. No, that guy didn't care enough about boxing to dump money in it just to get the PBC out of business. That'd be stupid. If you're gonna come into business, you better put the smash on Matchroom, Queensberry, the PBC, and Top Rank. He didn't care to do that. He just wanted to join in it. Turkey wants to put the shit on Smash, and he got real money. He really came in and snatched up all the talent, like Ted Turner did for a second. But the difference is he put together these events and he made you fight. There ain't no warm-ups, man. If you're contemporary, if people want to see that, hey man, I got a bag for you. Hey man, if I step out the PBC, if I step out of Top Rank, it's in my contract. I gotta pay them $2 million. Here come Turkey. $2 million, what's that? I got that. I'll buy the contract out. I'll give him 2.5. You come over here and fight your contemporary, I'll pay you 20 mil. Now it's back in the fighter's ball court. Now the ball's back in the fighter's court. And if the fighter says no, you're a coward. Am I lying? How much was Turkey Al-Sheikh offering Tank and Devin to come fight in Saudi? Your man said no and asked for 2 goddamn Ferraris. Right? Yeah, that's right, Xavier. He also, Al Heyman invested in Canelo. Joe Townsend, salute. He invested in Canelo, and that was the worst thing he could have ever done. That was the worst thing he could have ever done. Why would you do that? That's the dumbest shit ever. This clown killed Showtime. He killed the Zone. Killed the PBC. Somehow ends up 100 million a fight with Riyadh season. My God, man. Just to get beaten up by a welterweight. Right? There's that face of boxing, right? Jonathan, what up? So now this big dumb ape, this little stupid monkey, was supposed to be saving the PBC. He talking about leaving in 2025. He's not giving you a contemporary. He's giving you a cruiserweight, a ranked cruiserweight in Jake Paul. And he's leaving the business. That's what he's doing. So if Tank leaves, like for real, if he leaves, let me ask y'all a question. Where does that leave the PBC? Hulk Hogan left the WWF and went to WCW and held that up for as long as he could, which was nowhere near as long as he did in WWF. He did the best he could. They had a new gimmick. They had a resurgence. He had a second breath of his career. But he never captured, after that, after the NWO shit died down, he never captured the same magic he had from the 80s. And guess what happened? He ended up back in the WWF and WCW died. The business of boxing is not the same. There is no second breath. They're canceling events, man. Houston with Tank that had to be moved. There was some crap in between, and now Fundora, Errol, we ain't seen Errol in God knows how long. We ain't seen Errol since he fought Bud. You seeing fighters fire shots, the business of boxing is horrible, and it's like they don't want to say Al, because Al did right for them at first, but now it's like, what's going on here? What are we doing? And now I gotta wait to see Fundora and Thurman. Man, ain't no hand injury. They can't pay these guys. From what I heard, because I don't know everything, Al's business model was based off of a promise. Now, Al was in great standings with a lot of people. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Al was in good standings. Hey, man, I got these fighters. This is what he generates. This is his fan base. And, I think we could generate X amount of dollars if you allow us to book in your arena. Then he goes to the fighters. Hey, man, we're going to pay you $5 million up front. But there's something called back-end money. The back-end money is the money you're going to receive after we pay the bill for whatever arena that we're booking. Once they get their money, right? Whatever money on the back end, pay-per-view sales and things of that nature, popcorn sales, soda sales, I'm negotiating a contract where you get a percentage of that. And then once we count every dime, that $5 million could easily be $30 million. Cool, Al. And that's why Tank, what did he make up front with Ryan Garcia? Did he get $5 million up front and Ryan got 2.5, and then once all the money got counted up, they ended up with like 30 million? Something like that. Something like that. Back end money. That was the PBC's business. Well, it sounds good and it made a lot of sense. But again, no one factored in Turkey Al-Sheikh. 30 million. I got 30 million up front, Tank. Come to Saudi and fight Devin Haney. Or whatever it was, 25 million up front, which was more than what he ever made up front. And your boy said no. Your boy said no. So I see the PBC going the way of WCW. My opinion, the writing is on the wall. And this shit is almost over. If Al Heyman leaves the PBC, I don't know whose hands it's going to be left in. But with that being said, what he might want to do is tell all of his fighters, hey man, I'm going to grandfather y'all in to Turkey Al-Sheikh. We got to start playing ball with them. Because doing the Amazon thing, that lasted all of 2 seconds, right? And I can no longer sustain this. So I'm an advisor. Remember, Al Heyman is an advisor. You remember they tried to sue him for the Muhammad Ali Act and everything. He's an advisor, right? If this is the case, he needs to advise all of his fighters. I'm about to go into a joint business venture with Turkey. And we're going to get on that program because I got to get out of this. I can't do for you what I used to do because this guy has money. I can't even book venues properly anymore. He can't. The PBC is not as strong as it used to be. It's died down, like how WCW started off strong, and in 3 years, it faded off. The storylines got trash, but everybody ran over there and they drained the swamp. They got their money, ended up back in other promotions, went back to the WWF. They did all of that, man. They did all of that. PBC, it looks like they're in the same boat. That's what I'm saying. It's not the same, but it's very similar. Now, I know there's going to be some asshole. Oh, well, why you, matter of fact, let's do that. I'll drop the link. Tell me why I'm hating on the black man. Why are you hating on the black man? Why are you hating on the black man? No. Watch this. The black man was hating on me. Okay, Al, you did right by us, but now can I get the fights that I want? Can I at least get the fights that I want? I supported you, Al. Why wasn't you letting anybody near the Bud versus Errol fights, Al? Errol wanted to fight, Al. He felt he could do it, Al. Even if it didn't work out for him, Errol's a fighter, Al. He wanted to do it. Why he had to go around you to do it? What was you preserving, man? Make the fights. That's what I wanted. It's boxing first. So now I protected the brother because he was falling under racist attacks. I supported the brother because he was falling under racist attacks. How much more do you want me to do? Can I get what I want as a supporter of the sport now? Can I get that, Al? That's all I asked. Is that unreasonable? Can I get what I want? That's all I want. This isn't Al Heyman hate. It's like, all right, brother, I supported you through all of that. The suing, the Muhammad Ali Act, they said you was in violation. I said, nah, man, F these guys. The email from Golden Boy when they called you Black Hitler, we put boots on the ground for that. Now the dust has settled. Okay, now you can give me what I want as a consumer because I'm paying the money, right? You throw an event, I go. I pay money. I buy the pay-per-views. Can I get what I want now, Al? Because there's only so much support I'm going to give you as a black man because you're not respecting my black dollar, man. You're not respecting me. I'll talk you up when you're doing good. But I'm going to tell the truth when you're fucking up. And I was real quiet about this little monkey too. And then what happened? He started letting me down. I put up 15 faces on here. He left food on the table. There's no way I should be able, any fighter that's Hall of Fame bound and celebrated, there ain't no way there should be 15 faces I can name that he did not fight. No way. One or two, maybe. Riddick Bowe will always have the Lennox Lewis thing over his head. That's one fighter. This joker got 15, no, more than 15, because there was like 3 people I ain't put on there. It's like 16, no, it's like 17 to 18 fighters, man. And he's supposed to be leaving in 2025. And he's giving you Jake Paul. Shout out to the PBC. Y'all all right with this? I'm sorry. The PBC has nothing to do with this. GTD has nothing to do with this. Jake Paul is signing that check, and this monkey didn't even know. He didn't even know. He's like, oh, that's facts? That's facts? I'm like, okay. What? He has some contradicting information? No, he started calling someone's name because he didn't know. He done called you a bitch and you work for me. I'm like, oh my God, he don't know who's signing his check. That means he don't know that Jake Paul's not gonna pull any punches on him. He don't know this ain't gonna be a dancing match. He don't know this may be the toughest fight of his life. Now, I don't give a damn if you click the link and come up here and talk about how he's not gonna lose. That's really not the conversation. The conversation is he shouldn't even be in there. He's a PBC fighter. He should be fighting his contemporaries. Al Heyman should be doing business with Top Rank or anybody else that has a rival belt that's working for another company, making those fights happen. He didn't do it. Just like he wasn't trying to make Errol versus Bud. But I'm going to tell you what Al Heyman did do. He made Fury versus Deontay, and what happened to Deontay happened under Al Heyman's watch. So be very careful when you come up in here talking about, why you hating on the black man? What happened to Deontay Wilder happened on Al Heyman's watch, motherfucker. Be very careful. Because I was still kind of quiet on that. Because I'm like, yo, this is a black man? This is supposed to be our thing? Was he paying attention? No. For me to come home looking at a goddamn post fight and Larry Merchant is sitting on a PBC program couch. Bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Is this the last we've seen of the great Black Hope? He said that. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait.
What the fuck?
Where's Al? Who okayed this? That's when I knew it wasn't a black thing. It never was. It was about fucking business. It was about business. And Tank fans, let me remind you, Al Heyman signed Canelo at one point. Let me ask y'all a question, Tank fans, before you come up here beefing with me. Let me ask you a question. How much value did he see in Tank Davis as opposed to Canelo Alvarez? Uh-oh. I looked at that and said, wait a goddamn minute. Wait a goddamn minute. Wait a goddamn minute. You have Tank. He has contemporaries. You can make a lot of money. Why are you signing Canelo and you know he's not going to fight David Benavidez? You know that. You know what he did to Showtime and DAZN. What are you doing? Yeah, Tank fans, Al Heyman and the PBC saw more value in Canelo than Tank Davis. Never forget that. So before you click the link and tell me that I'm hating on a black man, just remember the black man was hating on his little black boyfriend. Remember that. Remember what happened to Deontay happened on Al Heyman's watch. Remember that. Canelo came through and told Tank, "Todavía soy mejor que tú." Yeah, Google it. He put his arm around little Tank and said, "Todavía soy mejor que tú." That's what he said. That's what he said. "Todavía soy mejor que tú." Look it up. Already did a show on it. And he proved it. Because he came through the PBC, he was in, he was out, like a quickie. And got like 300 mil he got 300 milli from Riyadh season, from Turkey, right? And what did he do over there? William Skull. Who else? Work backwards. Prior to Bud, the fight that he lost, what happened? What did he give you? William Skull and who else? On Riyadh season. And you tell me, was that worth like 300 milli? Tell me. But I'm hating on the black man though, right? Let me tell you this too. Tank Davis probably could have put the PBC in a, I'm not going to say he could have saved the PBC, but he could have put the PBC in a better position. How do I know? Those 15 names that I put up last week, he couldn't afford at least 5 of those guys and sold out the arena and sold some pay-per-views. He probably wouldn't have done enough to save the PBC, but he'd have did right by them, right? And he also would have did right by his resume, yes? But you see, this is the direct result. The PBC, when you put your eggs in one basket, this is what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket with one fighter. This is what happens. When you're not a Turkey out of Sheik, and you got money to fall back on, you see, when you're in business to make money, because it's do or die. If the business of boxing fails for Turkey out of Sheik, he just go ahead and do something else. He's all right. But American businessmen don't get into business just for things to fail. This is failing. And this is what happens when you get these greedy ass fighters that think about themselves. They don't give a fuck about the sport. Now, true, We don't pay your bills, or do we? I'm the consumer. The last Tank fight I purchased was Ryan Garcia. That's it. I was not paying for no goddamn Lamont Roach, and I didn't. And I hear you, Daryl Alexander, but you know, that's what I'm talking about right now. He has a responsibility. There's other fighters on the PBC. There's other fighters on that banner. If he brought more money into the PBC, he brought more eyes to the PBC, he's doing right by the fighters under that banner. He has a responsibility to that banner. He has a responsibility to Al, a responsibility to himself also. When I say himself, financially and his resume. But he's too afraid of that responsibility, which is why he's taking the cheat route in fighting Jake Paul. He wants to get out the game. He doesn't want that responsibility. You see what happens when you don't fight your contemporaries? You get figured out. Because I'm looking at Devin Haney in comparison, and he's in a perfect spot. He don't have the PBC. There's no flagship on his shoulders. No one's saying, hey, man, you are the face of this company. So I got to put some faith in you, Devin. Could you rock with me? No. He said, I'm going to do a little business with Bob Arum. I'm going to do a little business with Eddie Hearn. And then Turkey Al-Sheikh came out of nowhere and said, oh, yeah, you're this guy, Tank Davis' rival? How about this? 50 million, you guys come over to Saudi and fight. Devin said, okay, your man asked for 2 Ferraris. You understand? You understand? Devin been a free agent. And you know what the result was? Him getting the attention of Turkey Al-Sheikh and giving him a bag. That's the result. Honest, hard work. Tank giving you Lamont Roach fighting to a draw. You're not even getting that rematch. Now he's giving you Jake Paul on the way out of the business. You see what I mean? Time reveals all truth, don't it? And that's why he's a little monkey. And we're done with the tricks. We're done with the coons and the buffoonery. We're done with it. And this ain't no hate to Al. I think he's about to pack it up. Business owners, when they're blowing more money trying to keep the doors open of the business open, they got to cut their losses. Look, it was fun while it lasted. I didn't factor in, like, you have a mom and pop store that's been in the community for 50 years, and now they willed it to their kids, and the kids are now we own the mom and pop store. And then people come in and say, yo, bro, you know that lot, that big ass lot, about 10 blocks down there, that big lot over there? Yeah. Well, some company purchased it. You know what they're building there? No, what? A Walmart. Uh-oh. When is it going to be done? They said by the end of this year. Oh, shit. Damn. Okay, you're going to hold those doors open, but now you got to start considering trying to do something else. Because once Walmart opens, mom and pop stores have problems. You can try and hold out. You might have some products in there that Walmart won't carry, and the people in the neighborhood, they fucks with you. But you might not be making the same amount of income that you did once that big ass mega power opens up 10 blocks down there. So you might have to consider closing up shop. And in that instance, you let the employees know, hey, look, man, things are more than likely about to get rough. I might have to let some of y'all go. I might have to, reduce the wages. I don't know, but Walmart's opening up 10 blocks down there. Some of your employees might go down there and say, hey, man, I need a job. I'm going to have to go down there and get a job then. I got mouths to feed. It's time to close those doors. And that's what it may be time for Al to do. You might have to close the doors. Yo, look, Mel, Maul, Tank, whoever else is over there. Caleb, whoever else is over there. Look, man, this Turkey guy, you better go over there and talk turkey with him, because 2026, this is it, man. Lord knows what they told these cats in these contracts. Confidentiality. If we have to postpone the fight, we're going to say it's an injury and you don't say shit, or you could be sued. I don't know how it's working out. So Al was really good for boxing, but I think his business model has become outdated in the short amount of time that the PBC's been around. So fighters might be cutting their losses and doing their own things. And by the way, this is why it's always important for these fighters to be independent. This is why it's always important. Now you see why. Now who's looking more like a genius now? Who's looking more like a boss? Devin Haney or Tank Davis? You see what I mean? Now, hopefully now y'all will get it. Hopefully now y'all will get it. There's no comparison financially. There's no comparison resume-wise. Y'all just celebrated this kid off of one big promise. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but it's not backed up by anything. It's not. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. There's 15 heads on this screen that he didn't do it. He just didn't do it. But he's giving you Jake Paul, and y'all are taking that. And y'all are hoping that he sticks around and fights at least one of his contemporaries. Tank didn't want the responsibility of holding up the PBC and keeping it afloat. Hell, Al Heyman allowed Canelo to come through. I'm wondering, did Al Heyman and the PBC get a return on their investment with Canelo? I don't know. If the return on investment was 50 mil, what did he do with that 50 mil? When Tank's highest payday up front, to my knowledge, was about 5 million. That's what they think of Tank Davis, y'all. Don't take my word for it. Look what's happening. So we're on the farewell tour, leave and never return tour. Go away, don't come back. Take care of your family. I hope you make at least 100 mil off of this. I don't think it's going to be that much. Whatever it is, good. Go raise your kids, get your therapy like you said you wanted to do. Don't come back to this sport. You're not business savvy. You was exciting to watch when you was beating up people that we knew you was going to beat. You didn't fight your contemporaries. I am uninterested in anything you're doing unless you're fighting your contemporaries. If you're not going to do that, get the hell out the sport and get out the way so I can watch the fighters that are actually wanting to do something. Al Heyman, thank you so much. You did what you needed to do. Your business model was good for its time. Nobody factored in the deep pockets of a trillionaire Saudi. That was crazy. That's not Al's fault. Okay, but if you can't compete, it's okay, Al. You did what you could. This wasn't hate. This isn't he's leaving. This is not that. This is, Al, I understand. This just happens. Walmart just built the store up the block and you can't compete anymore. It's okay, bro. This happens. Ted Turner lost WCW. And he's an accomplished, Jimmy, what up? He's an accomplished businessman. And he gambled with sports entertainment and wrestling. He did good for a little while and it folded. It's okay. Business people take risks. My concern, believe it or not, are the fighters. Let them go. Talk to Spoolie, salute. Talk to Turkey and say, yo, look, I got all these fighters. Could you get them some work? Turkey, could you get them some work? I just want to do right by them. Could you get them some work? Because I can't compete anymore. I gotta close the doors. But I love these guys. They have families, they're fighters, they're hungry. Some of them been on a shelf for 2 years. They don't know what's going on. I can't do it anymore. Turkey, could you just take this off my hands? And the unique spot that Turkey's in is that he's in a financial position where he could just do a favor just for doing it. Hell, he's giving out those undisputed belts. Them shits is worth millions of dollars. Them shits are worth more than most people's pensions. Feel me? Literally, just go to him and say, hey, could you just take these guys off me? Do that. Ask him. You never know. So with that being said, let me take care of Dill Spoolie. Salute to you. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Bear Cave Entertainment. Bear Cave Entertainment, that's my third channel. Tomorrow I'll be back on my boxing channel too. I'm gonna have to triple stream. Shout out to Miguel and Jerome. And salute to the monkeys. But this wasn't a diss video to Al. I appreciate Al for what he's done, but I think the PBC has run its course. Step out the way. Tank, go ahead and retire. There's no shame. Businessmen take risks. Businessmen take risks that the normal people don't take. That's what makes a business mind that much more powerful. They take risks. So I'm actually saluting Al Heyman. I'm just telling y'all what it is. So if it's over for the PBC, there's no reason to clown. There's no reason to hang your head. Nothing. I would like to see all the fighters go over the Riyadh season if they can, get some work, and I want to see them fight each other. That's it. General's on. I think he got Trill Bill up there. Let's head over there. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Bronx on deck.
Move!
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.